I remember sometime we do 10 episodes for my show, and in this last season, I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? Had nightmares for a month. So it does come
to it or after?
After. Like I had nightmares every day. Like I felt that energy.
Oh, interesting.
You know, and I had to pray and do all this stuff to like get rid of it. And you know, you call your mom up and you're like, bring me back to life. And that stuff is real. That stuff really is real.
Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, thank you, Brother Yapo Yapa, for sharing this story with me concerning Damson Idris, a name that I find intriguingly, ironically, very close to the biblical character's name, Samson. I think of Delilah, and it just makes me ponder how he himself is caught up in far more than he understands. And Damson Idris is from the series Snowfall. And Damson was so desperate to get the ending final scene of Snowfall correct, heavy big quotes there, that he went into, I played the clip at the very beginning, and he asked Satan for help in doing that. I find the whole thing vastly disturbing because those energies, he said they're real, but they're not real the way that Satan is trying to present them, because he is the master of lies and he is of nothing. He's about nothing. That is all he can offer anyone, is nothingness. But him understanding, and I don't mean the corporeal Satan, but I mean the system of Satanism, in understanding the natural desires of every single person walking the planet. You want to feel safe. You want to feel hope for the next day, and that can connect itself to wealth. Wealth gives a promise of security, and for yourselves, for your family, for your community. And that's where the devil comes in. Now, the tenets of Satanism, the tenets of Luciferianism, the tenets of devil worshiping is about lying. I've been on different live streams where people were in, not people, but one particular person was in the chat room trying to say, oh no, you don't understand, Lucifer and Satan is all different people. And I'm just like, y'all liars. And so it's all about just presenting your deepest desires in a way where then you will sign on board for being full of crap. And thereby, when I think about Damson Idris praying to the devil in order to help him find strength to do this character, I'm like, well, what character was he doing at the end? Because what we don't realize is that you could be in a satanic coven and you don't even realize it. During the interview on Hollywood Reporter, he's surrounded by nothing but devils. These are actors. I don't even mean that they're just generalized white people. Though, if you're integrated with white people, congratulations, you're in a coven. Because it's a lie that these folks and us have anything in common enough so that we can get along like we're all one human people and know we have different natures that are evidence in simply the fact that even though we have been abducted by these people, we still have a completely unique way about our black selves that they just uselessly keep hoping they can imitate, and they can't, and thereby they just generation after generation try to shout louder than we do, just being ourselves. So no, it's a delusion. It's not a fantasy, because fantasies, might be something warm and cuddly about a fantasy. No, it's just simply a delusion to think we can, by just being the nicest, happiest Negroes, overcome their jealousy, their own natures, which are given to a materialistic just weakness that makes them try to explain a society that is based on taking advantage of whole population, genociding people without batting an eyelash. I wonder how many up on that panel even know about Fukushima. They live in hell weird. Jeff Bridges has got cancer. And they talk in their own little private conversations that they make damn sure we are nowhere around to hear. So they're not telling the general public. They're not even telling general common white folk what the hell's going on. It's all about lies. So before I get to the rest of my commentary, it made me wonder, dude's been doing Snowfall for, this is the sixth season? For a long time. I was completely done watching the show as soon as the lesbian scenes showed up. I don't know how many came after that, but all I know was one character, and the show in general is not beneficial for us at all, where they're highlighting a drug dealer who is just supposed to be so intelligent that he's successful, but he's destroying his community. That in itself, that's satanic. That's satanic. Where just to showcase it, these statues are huge, and they've been putting them on Capitol property, federal and state government property, and they got the black young boy right up in there. And what the heck is that coming up out of the devil's loincloth right there? This is pedophilic. What are we suffering from them right now, hinting at constantly about pedophilia and all sorts of other ridiculousness, right? Yeah, they were coming for black us and using whatever lies and obfuscation they can. And so in this Snowfall scene, even though he didn't notice how destructive the show was at the outset, in the Snowfall scene, he had to literally call on the devil to assist him with, is because probably in his mind, and I support him doing his best to extract the devil from his mind, but it's a far more basic exorcism than he would need to be doing all of this, pouring salt behind his shoulder and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Is simply separating from the devil people, from their devil concepts of what successful is. So my guesstimation is that he had a problem doing this final scene because it exploded his one little hope for his participation in this tour de force rotten message to all of black us, where he in the end is a broken black man at least he's not destructive. seductive anymore, because his friend in the scene is just like looking at him like, wow, that's just sad to see him shuffling away down the road. His t-shirt is all holy and he's just a drunkard. All his intelligence is gone. The white man loves to see this. And probably Damson Idris recognized that. And he's British. They use a lot of the West Indians who were asked to go on up into England in order to increase the manpower, because after World War II, they had lost so much of the male population, but they still needed infrastructure building to happen to repair the damage from all the bombs. So they brought in the West Indians and they thought, oh, we're all part of this. And because they didn't endure the abduction that we did here as American-born descendants of Africans and those indigenous black us who were already here, they didn't endure that personally right then and there. They thought of themselves as more British than the British. And that mindset can still infest their ability to see the devil for what he is and what he does, because the UK is steeped in Satanism. Oh, my goodness. And pedophilia and all the rest of that sort of nonsense. So they bring over Africans who were also brutalized by the Europeans, but because the Europeans used other Africans to get that done, just like they used Africans to get us on over here, right? They don't recognize what's going on. So they bring in these desperate black actors and actresses to play parts that then they'll agree to, that black us here, because we have that epigenetic legacy so deeply embedded in our souls, we won't agree with stuff that they ask us to do. So this dude here, they got him in the corner praying to Satan, and he surely was possessed. What was he possessed by? Satan? No. He was simply dragged down to a lower level of evil, wherein the nothingness is simply the antimatter. I'm not going to get into it specifically in detail, but there is a nothingness that the Most High, the Creator, the one and the only, ain't no committee, created existence. It was one man, black man, okay? That nothingness, that antimatter, they've tried to separate it at different times, but the Most High has put rules on his existence so that it stays in check. They even had their scientists coming up saying, well, that's got to be some intelligent force keeping antimatter at check. But if you get close enough, you're going to feel the pull of the nothingness. As a matter of fact, when he says, when the Most High says God is within, so is that antimatter, as far as the ability to justify the lie, to justify evil doing. It's right on in there. And in their scientific studies, they found out that antimatter really literally is around every single kernel of existence of matter. But the Most High holds it at bay. And thereby, the thing that they hope to do is throw our black bodies in as a way of keeping themselves out of that antimatter. Then they know they're going. I'm not saying that the average Satanist understands it on this level, because they're idiots, right? But they hope to throw us right on in there, like in their statues, and that is the way they could get as far away from their inevitable damnation as possible. This is a song from the movie that I did a review on, White Noise, where it's just straight up devil confessions. And the song is so cryptic. Yeah, I need a new body. I need a new body. And it goes on to say, to justify everything I'm doing to get me as far away from what's coming as possible. So they know. This is a scene from a very cryptically exact movie, but just not as, spookified as White Noise was. A Serious Man, done by or directed by, and I think written by, they pretty much write all their material, the Coen brothers. This is one of the ending scenes where this serious man was actually an honest Jewish man who was overwhelmed by the reality that everybody in his faith was lying. Right? I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying what the plot of the movie is, that I'm like, protocols of the learned elders, anybody? And so at the end of the movie, they just say they know what's coming. And it's a big giant storm. It's blowing everything. They know the damnation is coming. But they want to stay as far away from it as possible by using chosen black us, who have been studied deeply and epigenetically traumatized, along with brainwash. So we're all into the materialism now. I swear I see us one after the other just like feeling righteous, putting down those who share nothing but truth, and bravely so. Fear no man, fear only the Most High. So I'll tell you about the CMOS. I'll tell you about what radiation does. I'll tell you what none of these folks who will make fun of a sister like me, and it's the only place you're going to get that rescue is from me, unfortunately. Right? I'll tell you the truth, and then they'll make fun of you because they have swallowed the programming where hip-hop went from telling the truth and loving our people no matter what level of income we had, to where I don't know, I don't watch none of this stuff now because they got nothing but Satanism going on in it, almost pretty much. But everybody is just bragging, I got this, I shot that one, and this, ho and B, I got this one and that, and it's just nasty. The Coen brothers they couldn't make that film because they would just be having so much fun they would forget to actually direct the thing, even though they and theirs are. Okay? We got to step away from the coven that's got us, so that the next thing is you're going to be so desperate that you're going to directly call on Satan so that you could be successful accepting the truth of what the white man really wants you to be. A broken nothing. And so that he could shove your destruction in the one and the only's face and say, look what I made your best do. Right? So that's the analysis we need to be doing. That's the review we need to be doing so we could hightail it as far away from them as east is from west, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad clearly stated. Snowfall, no, they want us to fall, and we don't have to do it if we will get up from out under the radioactive blizzard of their hell. Oh my goodness, this soap is so good. It's because it's so easy to do better than almost anything that these folks have to offer, because we, Dr. Z and I, have been studying healing, holistic remedies so deeply that we make our own tinctures and oils. And Dr. Z with his equipment, we don't call his office an office, it's a lab, right? But that's why the soaps are so extraordinary, because I can put in levels of these healing ingredients that outstrip what you're going to buy on the marketplace, because it would cost these companies a fortune to do what I do, and they'll charge a fortune because they're materialistic, right? That Nzinga, I'm going to be offering a shampoo butter for the Nzinga without the flowers, but I just washed my hair with the bar with the flowers in it, and it is it's, I have no words. It's so good. Go to 25,000yearcycle.org and get your healing on, and support me in getting my own lab equipment to test our food for radiation, because that is the lie that the devil puts out there, so that he's so scared you're going to find out there's cures for radiation contamination, that he doesn't even talk about radiation at all, and he hides, so that you have to really love being black to find a sister like me, because he hides my existence up on here. And most of us have been so talked into materialism, and it's natural to want to be where it looks like everybody popular. He's made it so you don't hear my warning that is totally fact-based. All right? We got this. Peace and blessings. Straight Black family pride.